Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm Aram Tolegian, joined by Fred J. Robledo. This is the Week 10, Freddie, League Championship / looking ahead at the playoffs edition. There are some things we need to get out of the way before we actually get into some individual games. And the games we'll be talking about today are Ayala against South Hills, Nogales-Sierra, Vista, and West Covina-Los Altos. But before we get into those games, we need to go over some things real quickly for the playoffs. There's a lot of questions out there, and there are some certain ones that we can answer right away going into this. First things first, in the divisions where there's 18, 19 teams, Freddie.
Yeah.
Okay, first things first, okay, let's just start for anybody that's a novice at this, and we realize there might be. All the playoff divisions are 16-team fields. They're a 16-team tournament. Some of the divisions, the higher divisions, 1, 2, 3, have 18, 19 teams, and therefore almost every team in the division except for 2 or 3 are going to make it. But in the lower divisions, Freddie, the 10, 11, 12, 13.
Division 10, for example, has 38 teams. All the way down to Division 13, 85 teams vying for 16 playoff spots. And we're going to talk about Nogales. They're one of those teams that are in that Division 13. So is Nogales. So are a few teams from our area.
That's where things could get hairy. Like we said, in Division 1, 2, 3, you can kind of get a good idea of who's in, who's not, who's on the bubble, who's not. But as far as Division 12, 11, 13, 10, and there,
wait until Sunday.
Yeah, well, yes and no. The things to remember, the key things to remember are this. Nobody is guaranteed, not even league champions are guaranteed to make the playoff field. Hypothetically, if there were 18 league champions in an 80-team division, 2 league champions are going to be sitting at home, 16 will get in. So there's no guarantee that a league champion is in. In all likelihood, they are. Then, after the league champs, once you get down to the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, no 3s will go ahead of a 2, no 4s will go ahead of a 3. So it's important to all you teams out there to finish as high as possible in your league race, if not win your coin flips, and be a 2 instead of a 3, be a 3 instead of a 4. That gives you the best opportunity.
The easiest divisions are to figure out are these ones at the top because Division 1 through 3, I believe those are 18 to 19 team fields, only 2 or 3 get in, you can figure it out. Even Division 4, where we have Charter Oak is in, and Damien, only 19 teams in that division, so only 3 don't get in. So I'm pretty much thinking Damien, Charter Oak, those schools are pretty much a lock in the playoffs no matter what happened. Then it gets hairy. Division 6, where Los Altos is at, West Covina, 22 teams, 16 gets in. It gets in a little tougher, but it looks like most first, second, and thirds will probably make it in that division too.
Okay, so the things to keep in mind now, in the case of a traffic jam of 2s and 3s, let's say there's a division out there where there's 10 league champions and now there's 6 open spots and you got to choose from 2s to 3s and there's 15 2s, but only 6 of them are going to get in. What happens then, like Freddie said, tiebreaker. The formula they're using is the same one that they used in years past for the at-large thing. It's about a 5-pronged formula, head-to-head results. So if there's 5, 6 teams vying for one playoff spot, if any of them have played each other, head-to-head results, count for 4 points. Strength of league, strength of schedule. Strength of schedule is factored solely on the total wins and losses a team has. So there's a formula, Freddie, to split the 2s and so on. If there's, let's say, 10 number 2s vying for 5 playoff spots in a said division, there is a formula that was in place for years that will be used to split those teams up. So people need to realize that. Are you ready to talk about games now?
We'll go really quick because we don't have a lot of time. We'll start with Ayala and South Hills. And that's become a big game because last week Ayala and Glendora were both 3-0. Ayala beat Glendora. Ayala's the only undefeated team in there. But South Hills, who'd lost to Glendora earlier, if they can win this game, Aram, on Friday night, creates a 3-way tie for first because they all will have beaten each other. Coin flips aside first, second, and third, which are important in terms of playoff seedings. Those third place teams, although we think they're going to get in these divisions because the divisions these 3 teams are in, but there's not a lock. They haven't looked at it absolutely to know. But pretty impressive when you look at South Hills beginning of the year, where they were, not scoring any points, quarterback problem. I saw that game against West Covina where they get blown out. looked like they weren't going to be anything. All of a sudden, they've got a chance to play for a league championship on Friday against an Ayala team, Aram. I give them a very, very good chance of beating the way they're playing right now.
Okay, fair enough. You know, one of the things that I would say about South Hills is this, is you better enjoy kicking Bechtel while he's down. Because he's not going to be down for long.
Yeah.
This South Hills program, Freddie, we've heard things.
Yeah.
We won't get into them. They're coming.
Yeah.
They are definitely up and coming. They are on their way. And I know it's hard. You don't want to say Bechtel's down per se. They're 5-4. But you better enjoy the 6-4, 5-5 type South Hills team because pretty soon this is going to be 8-2, 9-1.
And I'm pretty impressed with Bechtel because if you think back to early in the year when they weren't scoring any points, everyone saw, oh, this is the offensive genius you brought in here to solve South Hills problems. I mean, a lot of people were down on Bechtel, and you heard some of those whispers. I mean, one of the quarterbacks, transferred out to another program, thinking he wasn't going to get a lot of playing time. But look what he's done. Bechtel stayed the course. His offense now, if you look at it, they're starting to score a lot of points. They always had a pretty good defense. That's what kept them in a game against Charter Oak earlier in the year. So this team, now that they're scoring points, I like them against Ayala on Friday, Aram. I'm picking South Hills to beat Ayala, finish in a 3-way tie. I just feel like the momentum's in their way. This is their homecoming. The game's at the district. I think everything's going in their favor to get this one on Friday and create a 3-way tie.
I disagree completely, Fred. I think the thing that Ayala has on this league this year particularly is an athletic advantage, and I think that'll be in play on Friday night at District Field. That's what I think Ayala used to get past Glendora. Again, when you look at this league just as a whole, as who starts with kind of the best talent base every year, I always think that Ayala starts with one of the better talent bases in the league. And it's kind of being borne out here this season. They're 4-0 in league. South Hills is 3-1 with a loss to Glendora, the same Glendora team that Ayala beat. Now, granted, those were both close games. Both close games. Ayala's win over Glendora was close. South Hills lost Glendora to Glendora was close.
It's a really close game.
Yeah, it is.
Bring your signs out Friday. This is Aram that you want to prove wrong. He's got Ayala.
Yeah, right. Well, I won't be there, so that'll be the good news.
I'll be there.
But here's the thing. Freddie's assuming that Glendora beats Claremont. Pretty fair assumption.
Yeah.
If that happens, and if South Hills is able to beat Ayala, 3-way tie for the league championship. We'll flip coins to determine it. If Ayala wins, they are the outright league champions. And Glendora, if they win, will finish second
in South Hills
because they have head-to-head.
South Hills third. I don't know if there's a third place.
Playoffs and league title are on the line for South Hills here. So critical game. Okay, Freddie, moving on.
What's Covina-Los Altos? Now,
Yes.
I think everyone kind of assumed, and we talked about last week, Los Altos Charter Oak. That game's for the league championship. Both 8-0, both number one in their divisions. However, West Covina snuck back into this by playing well. They lost that close game to Charter Oak, 31-28. That's been their only loss in the Hacienda League. They get Los Altos at home in a game that I think they match up pretty well against because these are two grinded out, run it down your throat football teams. Traditionally, they've played each other tough over the years. West Covina, same situation South Hills is in. They win this game on Friday, they can create a 3-way tie for first, knowing that Charter Oak is going to whip on the walnut no matter who shows up in Charter Oak's uniform on Friday. So, can West Covina do it? Can they be the team that gets Los Altos a week after, sometimes this happens there, you win that big game, you have the natural letdown the following week.
Right.
Will that happen? West Covina, they're ready for this.
I think this is going to be a tough game. I really do. I think this will be maybe even a better game than Los Altos Charter Oak was, Freddie. Like you said, there's a question of hangover effect for Los Altos. And last week was for the league championship. The winner guaranteed at least a share of the Hacienda League title. Los Altos has a share of the Hacienda League title in the bank. Now they're playing for the outright league title here. And obviously Charter Oak is hoping that Los Altos loses and there's a 3-way tie and so on.
But what I don't like, Los Altos and West Covina are in Division 6, okay? Yeah. There are 22 teams that make it. So do the math. 6 won't make it. They better hope that among those there's not too many first or second so that a third isn't an automatic qualifier.
Right.
That's the only danger here if there's a 3-way tie or if one team falls at third. Right. But having not looked at all those divisions, I'm thinking they would be one of those top 5 through tiebreakers based on what they've done. But we'll see.
That's more of an issue here again for West Covina, just like it is for South Hills in the Palomares League. West Covina is guaranteed no worse than third place in the league. But like Freddie says, is number 3 good enough to get in to that field of 16?
Because they struggle early in the year. Their overall record and their head-to-heads, that could become a factor. So we'll figure. Sunday, make sure that you're checking into our blogs. You're looking at our Twitters. We'll let you know what's going on. I think from 10 till about 11:30, all of the pairings come out. We'll be posting on the blogs. We'll have stories. It's going to be an interesting day.
Well, pick the game, Fred.
Real quick.
Los Altos.
I got Los Altos.
Yeah,
I got Los Altos.
Now, how close is it?
I have it a 10-point game. I put down. I think
so that's close. That's close.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think there may be a little hangover effect.
Yeah.
West Covina may hit them in the mouth a little bit early. Got to remember Majori and his staff. 3 CIF championships. Majori, Murphy. These guys know what the hell they're doing in big games. They are a dangerous team to play in this spot. Boy, this is an interesting spot. I agree with you. I'll take LA. It is
because of the possible letdown, but I'm going to go with LA, but I don't feel super strong about it. I could see West Covina in an upset here, but I'm not going to predict that.
Okay.
Last game, Nogales-Sierra, Vista. Now, this is an interesting one because this is the division. These teams are both in Division 13 where there are 85 teams playing for 16 spots, theoretically, and we don't know. There could be 18 league champions among these 85 teams, which is to Aram's point earlier, where you've got to win a league championship to have a real shot at making sure you get in. You finish second place in this division. I don't know, Aram, in this league. Qualify to this division. There's no guarantee you're going to get in. You're probably going to be in a lot of tiebreaker scenarios. It'll be tough. So Nogales' situation at 9-1. Or 8-1 right now, win, and they're the league champion because they beat Duarte last week. They finished tied for first, but they would get in over Duarte based on the head-to-head. If they lose, Duarte is going to be the league champion because Duarte is going to beat Gladstone, the winless team in the final week, with the only one loss. That would put Nogales tied for second, likely with 2 other teams. Based on coin flips, you can go second, third, or fourth. You go third or fourth, you're out. Nogales, to me, has to win on Friday to make the playoffs. It's just that simple.
This is a Sierra Vista team, Fred, that has shown that itself to be dangerous at times this year. Let's not forget, they're 6-3 overall, one of the league's better records.
And they have an upset. Who did they beat in the league? They beat, I think it was Azusa. They beat Azusa. And don't forget, this is the team that took Baldwin Park to overtime early in the year. The same Baldwin Park team that beat San Dimas last week. San Dimas on any given Friday has proved they can battle.
Sierra Vista.
Right.
Azusa win was nice, but there's losses to Workman that, doesn't make as... Workman's improved. That worries me. Duarte was a blowout loss, whereas we saw Nogales kind of pull away from Duarte last week. There's no doubt about it. Nogales is a huge favorite in this spot, Freddie. And I just don't see Nogales tanking this situation. It's a great situation.
If you're Nogales and you're that coaching staff, you're telling the kids, hey, playoffs start Friday. This is it. This is our first round. We're at home. We got a team we can beat. If we don't win and get in, then it's our fault. Playoffs start right now on Friday. I put the playoff banners out Friday and say week 1. Call it a round robin. Call it a wild card game. You need to win this to get in, Nogales, and you're gonna win on Friday.
I think the playoffs stared for Nogales after the Azusa loss, and that's how they've been playing.
It has to,
with some desperation.
And they needed Duarte. They needed some things that happened in that league to get back. They needed Azusa to lose again.
Yes, and that happened. That happened twice actually. So. Great season had by the Nobles. I think they're going to roll in this game, Freddie. What do you think?
I think it's going to. I don't know if they're going to roll, but I think they're going to win.
I think they roll.
Just because they've had the ability to be dangerous this year, I give them that shot. But I think Nogales has already had its cough-up game against Azusa. They've had that. They've got to prove they can win here.
My suggestion, Freddie, for everybody in this league that finishes in a 3-4 whatever. I know the leagues, they're going to submit who their top 4 or 5 are or their exact order of finish. Apply for an at-large. You never know what could happen.